Imagine stepping onto your balcony, patio, or into a bright sunlit room and seeing a healthy lemon tree covered with glossy green leaves, fragrant white blossoms, and vibrant yellow fruit. The refreshing scent of citrus fills the air, and every lemon you pick comes from a tree you've cared for with your own hands. The best part is that you don't need a large backyard or an expensive greenhouse to enjoy this experience. Lemon trees adapt surprisingly well to life in containers, and with proper care, they can remain healthy, productive, and beautiful for many years. In today's video, we'll share 6 essential tips that will help your potted lemon tree grow stronger, bloom more abundantly, and produce larger harvests. Whether your tree grows outdoors on a sunny patio or indoors beside a bright window, these simple techniques can make a remarkable difference. Let's begin with the very first step that determines your future success. 1. Choose the right lemon variety, the foundation of a healthy tree. One of the biggest mistakes new citrus growers make happens before they even plant their tree. Many people select a lemon variety without realizing that some types are simply much better suited to containers than others. Standard lemon trees are bred to grow in open landscapes where they can spread extensive root systems and reach considerable heights. When these large growing varieties are confined to pots, they often become root-bound, experience slower growth, and produce fewer fruits. That's why selecting a naturally compact or dwarf variety is one of the smartest decisions you can make. Among all container-friendly lemons, the Meyer lemon remains one of the most popular. Its compact growth habit, fragrant blossoms, and ability to produce fruit over an extended season have made it a favorite among home gardeners. The fruit is slightly sweeter and less acidic than traditional lemons, making it excellent for cooking, baking, desserts, and refreshing drinks. Another outstanding option is the Ponderosa lemon. This attractive variety produces exceptionally large fruit while giving patios and balconies a lush tropical appearance. Its oversized lemons and glossy foliage make it as decorative as it is productive. If you prefer the classic tart flavor found in grocery store lemons, a dwarf Eureka lemon is an excellent choice. It performs very well in containers while delivering the familiar bright citrus taste that many people expect. The Lisbon lemon is another reliable performer, especially in warm climates where sunshine is plentiful. It tolerates heat exceptionally well and can reward gardeners with heavy harvests while remaining manageable in size. Whenever possible, purchase a grafted lemon tree instead of growing one from seed. Grafted trees usually mature much faster and often begin flowering and producing fruit within only a few years. Trees grown from seed may require many years before producing lemons, and the fruit they eventually produce may differ significantly from the original variety. For people growing citrus indoors, the Meyer lemon is generally considered the easiest choice because it adapts better than most varieties to indoor light conditions and continues performing well inside the home. Choosing a variety that naturally thrives in containers gives your tree the strongest possible start. It will be easier to care for, healthier throughout its life, and far more productive as the years go by. 2. Select the right container, giving roots the space they need. Many beginners believe planting directly into the largest container available will encourage faster growth. In reality, oversized pots often create more problems than benefits. When a small lemon tree is placed inside a very large container, the extra soil tends to remain wet for extended periods because the young roots cannot absorb moisture quickly enough. Citrus roots need both water and oxygen, and constantly saturated soil can lead to yellow leaves, weak growth, root diseases, and even root rot. A container measuring roughly 16 to 20 inches across usually provides an excellent starting point for young lemon trees. It offers enough room for healthy root development while still allowing the growing medium to dry properly between waterings. As the tree grows larger over the coming years, it can gradually be moved into slightly bigger containers. This step-by-step approach encourages a dense, healthy root system capable of supporting vigorous growth and heavier fruit production. The material used for the container also influences plant health. Terracotta and clay pots remain favorites among experienced citrus growers because their porous walls allow excess moisture to evaporate while improving airflow around the root zone. Their added weight also helps stabilize trees once branches become heavy with ripening fruit. Plastic containers are much lighter and easier to move, making them ideal for gardeners who regularly reposition their trees throughout the year. However, because plastic retains moisture longer, watering schedules often require closer attention. Fabric grow bags have also become increasingly popular. They naturally air prune roots, preventing them from circling endlessly inside the container, while encouraging a stronger, healthier root structure. No matter which type of container you choose, excellent drainage is absolutely essential. Every pot should include several drainage holes, so excess water escapes quickly after each watering. Citrus trees simply do not tolerate standing water around their roots. Many gardeners place containers on rolling plant stands, allowing them to easily move trees into brighter sunlight or bring them indoors before freezing weather arrives. Some also place a thin layer of coarse gravel or broken clay pieces over the drainage openings to help prevent soil from blocking water flow without restricting drainage. When the time comes to repot your lemon tree, try disturbing the roots as little as possible. Keeping the existing root ball largely intact reduces transplant shock and helps the tree settle into its new container much more quickly. Think of the container as your lemon tree's entire world. When it provides proper drainage, healthy airflow, and enough room for steady root growth, your citrus tree will reward you with stronger growth, healthier foliage, fragrant blossoms, and abundant harvests for many seasons. 3. Build the perfect soil mix. Healthy roots create healthy trees. If you want your lemon tree to remain vigorous, bloom generously, and consistently produce beautiful fruit, success begins below the surface. For container citrus, the growing medium is much more than simple soil. It serves as the tree's complete growing environment by storing moisture, supplying nutrients, supporting beneficial organisms, and delivering oxygen to the roots. Since container-grown trees rely entirely on the soil inside their pots, choosing the right mix becomes one of the most important decisions you can make. Heavy, compacted soil often traps too much water, reduces oxygen around the roots, and leads to yellowing leaves, weak growth, and various root diseases. A loose, airy growing medium, on the other hand, encourages healthy root development, lush green foliage, abundant flowering, and greater fruit production. The goal is to recreate the free-draining soils found in the Mediterranean regions, where citrus naturally thrives. These soils retain enough moisture for steady growth, while allowing excess water to drain away quickly. A highly effective homemade citrus mix consists of approximately 40% premium potting soil, 30% cocoa coir or peat moss for balanced moisture retention, 20% perlite, pumice or coarse sand to improve drainage, and 10% compost or well-aged manure to provide long-lasting nutrients and beneficial microorganisms. Once blended together, the finished mix should feel soft, light, and crumbly, rather than heavy or sticky. After watering, moisture should pass freely through the container, instead of remaining trapped around the roots. An easy way to evaluate your soil is by squeezing a slightly damp handful. It should briefly hold its shape before falling apart with gentle pressure. That texture provides an excellent balance between water retention and oxygen circulation. Lemon trees also perform best in slightly acidic soil with a pH between 5.5 and 6.5. Within this range, important nutrients such as iron, magnesium, and manganese remain readily available for healthy plant growth. If the soil becomes too alkaline, the tree may begin showing pale leaves, slow development, weak flowering, and lower fruit production, because nutrients become more difficult to absorb. Simple pH testing kits make monitoring these conditions easy. If necessary, materials like peat moss, coffee grounds, or elemental sulfur can gradually lower pH, while small applications of garden lime help raise it when soils become overly acidic. Proper drainage deserves constant attention because citrus roots require plenty of oxygen. Even the highest quality soil cannot compensate for poor drainage if water has nowhere to escape. Choose containers with multiple drainage holes and make sure they remain open at all times. Some gardeners also add coarse gravel or broken clay pieces near the base of the pot to reduce clogging and improve airflow around the lower root zone. Beneficial soil additives can make the growing environment even healthier. Mycorrhizal fungi naturally attach to roots, improving both water and nutrient uptake. Worm castings introduce beneficial microbes, enzymes, and gentle, slow-release nutrition that supports long-term plant health. Occasionally loosening the upper layer of soil also helps maintain healthy airflow because container mixes naturally settle and compact over time. When the root environment remains healthy, nearly every other aspect of citrus care becomes easier. Water is absorbed more efficiently, nutrients become readily available, roots stay vigorous, and your lemon tree develops the strength needed to produce lush foliage, fragrant blossoms, and heavy crops year after year. 4. Feed your lemon tree regularly. Consistent nutrition leads to better harvests. Once your lemon tree is growing in the right soil, the next step toward long-term success is providing it with the nutrients it needs on a regular basis. Unlike many ornamental plants, citrus trees are constantly working throughout the growing season. They produce fresh roots, new leaves, fragrant blossoms, and developing fruit all at the same time. That non-stop growth demands a continuous supply of nutrients. A lemon tree growing in the ground can spread its roots over a wide area in search of minerals and organic matter. A tree growing in a container has no such advantage. It relies entirely on the nutrients available inside its pot, so regular feeding is essential. Without it, growth often slows, flowering becomes sparse, fruit production decreases, and leaves may gradually lose their rich green color. For the best results, many growers use fertilizers specifically formulated for citrus trees. Products with a slightly higher nitrogen content, such as 5-3-3 or 6-4-6, encourage healthy leafy growth while still supplying enough phosphorus and potassium to support flowering and fruit production. Each nutrient plays its own important role. Nitrogen encourages vigorous shoots and maintains the lush green canopy that healthy lemon trees are known for. Phosphorus strengthens the root system while promoting the formation of flowers that eventually become fruit. Potassium improves fruit size, enhances flavor, increases sweetness, and helps the tree tolerate environmental stress more effectively. Micronutrients are equally important, even though they are needed in much smaller amounts. Iron, magnesium, manganese, and zinc all contribute to healthy citrus growth. When any of these nutrients become deficient, the tree often responds with pale leaves, weak growth, reduced flowering, and lower quality fruit. Applying fertilizer at the right time makes a noticeable difference. As spring arrives and new growth begins, lemon trees become much more active. This is the ideal time to start a regular feeding schedule. Throughout spring and summer, container-grown citrus generally benefits from fertilizer every 3 to 4 weeks while actively producing leaves, flowers, and fruit. When autumn arrives and temperatures begin falling, growth naturally slows. Fertilizer applications can gradually become less frequent, and during winter, especially if the tree is growing indoors, only minimal feeding is usually necessary. Before adding fertilizer, always water the soil thoroughly. Applying fertilizer to dry roots can cause unnecessary stress and even damage delicate root tissues. Spread fertilizer around the outer edge of the container beneath the canopy, rather than placing it directly against the trunk. Most of the tree's active feeder roots are concentrated near this outer area, allowing nutrients to be absorbed much more efficiently. Gardeners who prefer organic gardening often choose products such as fish emulsion, seaweed extract, compost tea, or other natural fertilizers. These not only provide nutrients but also improve the biological activity of the soil over time. Micronutrient deficiencies are especially common in container-grown citrus. If the leaves begin turning yellow while the veins remain noticeably green, iron deficiency is often responsible. Applying chelated iron or using a citrus foliar spray usually restores healthy color fairly quickly. Magnesium deficiency may also appear as pale or yellowing foliage. Many citrus growers correct this by dissolving 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt in water and applying it around the base of the tree about once each month during the active growing season. Small corrections like these frequently produce dramatic improvements within only a few weeks. Many experienced citrus growers also rely on foliar feeding. Instead of placing nutrients into the soil, diluted fertilizer is sprayed directly onto the leaves, where tiny pores quickly absorb essential minerals. This method is especially useful during periods of rapid growth, or when environmental conditions temporarily reduce nutrient uptake through the roots. For the safest results, foliar sprays are best applied early in the morning or later in the evening, when the leaves are cool and direct sunlight is less intense. As fertilizer is applied repeatedly throughout the year, salts naturally begin accumulating inside the container. If these deposits are allowed to build up, they can interfere with root function and reduce the tree's ability to absorb both water and nutrients. To prevent this, many gardeners occasionally flush the container by watering deeply until large amounts of water drain freely through the bottom. This washes away excess fertilizer salts and refreshes the entire root zone. Once the soil has drained completely, normal fertilizing can resume a few days later. In most cases, providing smaller amounts of fertilizer on a regular schedule produces much better results than applying large amounts only occasionally. Steady nutrition supports balanced growth, stronger roots, healthier foliage, more blossoms, and larger harvests year after year. When a lemon tree consistently receives everything it needs, the transformation is obvious. The leaves become deep green and glossy, branches grow vigorously, fragrant flowers appear in abundance, and clusters of beautiful lemons begin filling the tree. 5. Balance sunlight, temperature, and water for maximum growth. Among all the factors involved in growing healthy citrus, 3 have the greatest influence on long-term success: sunlight, warmth, and proper watering. Even the richest soil and the best fertilizer cannot overcome poor lighting, unsuitable temperatures, or incorrect watering habits. When these 3 conditions are managed correctly, lemon trees respond with vigorous growth, lush green foliage, heavy flowering, and impressive crops of flavorful fruit. Give your tree plenty of sunshine. Lemon trees naturally evolved in warm climates where bright sunshine is available for most of the day. To grow at their best, they generally require 8 to 10 hours of direct sunlight every day. Sunlight provides the energy needed for photosynthesis, which powers leaf production, flowering, fruit development, and healthy root growth. Outdoor trees should always be placed in the sunniest location available, preferably with southern or southwestern exposure. Avoid planting near walls, fences, or taller plants that cast shade for much of the day. Even partial shade can noticeably reduce flowering and fruit production. Gardeners growing citrus indoors often achieve excellent results by using full-spectrum grow lights. Positioning quality grow lights roughly 12 to 18 inches above the canopy provides valuable supplemental light during winter, or whenever natural sunlight is limited. Many indoor citrus growers maintain healthy year-round growth simply by providing consistent artificial lighting. Rotating the container once each week also helps ensure all sides of the tree receive equal light exposure, resulting in a fuller, more balanced canopy. As a general rule, the more sunlight a healthy lemon tree receives, the greater its flowering and fruit production will be. Keep temperatures warm and stable. As subtropical plants, lemon trees perform best in consistently warm conditions. Ideal daytime temperatures generally range between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, while nighttime temperatures should ideally remain above 55 degrees. Extended periods below 50 degrees often cause noticeable stress. Cold weather may lead to yellowing leaves, flower drop, reduced fruit production, and, if freezing temperatures persist, serious damage to the tree. One major advantage of growing citrus in containers is portability. Before winter arrives, the entire tree can simply be moved indoors to protect it from frost. If moving the tree isn't possible, covering it temporarily with frost cloths or blankets during especially cold nights can help reduce damage. Wrapping the container itself also helps insulate the roots from sudden temperature changes. Extreme heat can create problems as well. Temperatures above 95 degrees may cause flowers and young fruit to drop before they fully develop. During intense heat waves, providing light afternoon shade and slightly increasing watering can help reduce stress. Humidity also plays an important role, particularly for indoor citrus. Very dry indoor air often causes brown leaf edges, flower loss, and dull-looking foliage. Using a humidifier, placing the pot on a pebble tray filled with water, lightly misting the leaves, or grouping several plants together can all help create a healthier environment. Water deeply and at the right time. Incorrect watering remains one of the most common reasons container-grown lemon trees struggle. Too much water deprives roots of oxygen, encouraging rot and disease. Too little water places the tree under stress, often leading to leaf drop, poor flowering, and reduced fruit quality. The goal is to keep the soil consistently moist while allowing the upper layer to dry slightly between waterings. A simple finger test works very well. Insert your finger a few inches into the soil. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If moisture is still present, waiting another day or two is usually the better choice. Whenever watering, apply enough water to thoroughly soak the entire root ball until excess moisture drains freely from the bottom of the container. Deep watering encourages roots to grow farther downward while also helping flush accumulated fertilizer salts from the soil. Frequent shallow watering, by contrast, encourages weak surface roots that are much more vulnerable to heat and drought. Whenever possible, rainwater or filtered water is preferable because tap water often contains dissolved minerals and salts that gradually accumulate in container soil. Always empty saucers or decorative pots after watering, so the container never sits in standing water. During winter, lemon trees naturally require much less water because cooler temperatures and reduced sunlight slow their growth considerably. Overwatering during this dormant period remains one of the most common mistakes indoor citrus growers make. When sunlight, temperature, and moisture remain properly balanced, caring for a lemon tree becomes far easier. The reward is a healthy citrus tree with glossy evergreen foliage, abundant fragrant blossoms, sturdy branches, and harvests of fresh lemons that continue season after season.